Hello again, all my YouTube fans. This is Chuck Lafferty. I'm going to just show you a real quick tutorial today on how I make my deer sausage patties. I did a video on how I make my pre-seasoned burgers and get them all prepared. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into how do I make the next step. The deer burger's been processed. I put some aside in the freezer, and I went out just after New Year's and bought some pork at $1 a pound. Best time to buy pork, right after New Year's. Pork and sauerkraut. Got that leftover pork, grab it up. I did get my pork, and you can see here's my grinder. I'll give you a close-up, but I cut the pieces into long, skinny strips, ready to go right down the grinder. And I also got my meat prepared, my hamburger, from when I did burger. And now the process of mixing them together, mixing the spices together, and then making the patties. So I'll just give you a quick turnaround shot here of what the burger looks like. I got a scale too, which I actually weighed out my meat this time. When I make my burger, I don't really weigh things, but when it comes time for sausage, I do want a certain mixture. I usually go for like a 10-pound mixture, so I know I'll use 10 pounds, 6 pounds of pork, and approximately maybe 4 pounds of deer meat, which will give me 10 pounds of patty sausages. This time when I got done cutting up the pork, it measured out at about 7.5 pounds. So I had a little more than my 6. And unfortunately, when I packed away my deer meat, I was a little heavy on the scale, and I got close to 5 pounds, or just over 5 pounds of hamburger. So this is going to be a good mixture. So with 7 and 5, this time I'm going to end up with 12 pounds of product versus the 10 pounds. So I'll give you a little close up and give you a little run through of what the pork looks like. Then we'll go into the video. This is a shot here of my what I already packaged up, approximately 5 pounds. I marked it sausage, burger for sausage, because that, again, in my last video, that's only been through the grinder once. And here, I'm in the middle of grinding up everything. Got my pork on top, and then my ground sausage. So what I'll do now is I'll finish grinding my pork, and then I'll hand mix in the burger. Give you a quick shot of that before I add my spices. So one of the things you can see that I did here was I did take my big container, and I spread the pork out throughout. I layered it across the whole bottom. So now when I put my meat in, I can spread that meat out. Try to make sure I get an even spread. I don't want big chunks of deer meat versus having a big chunk of pork. So I'll spread this out as evenly as possible amongst the pork. Break it apart. It was in a package, so it's a little tight. And now I'll start just doing a hand mixture. Rolling it around, mixing the pork with the deer meat. Trying to make sure I don't have any big white spots of meat or red spots of meat from the deer itself. I'll continue this process on, and then after I do this, I'll show you how I mix up my spice mixture and add to that next. Again, I'm not sponsored by LEM products, but I do enjoy this seasoning. I've been using it for years, so I do know the taste. This is a LEM fresh hot Italian Now they're showing like a wrapper and a bratwurst type sausage. I prefer to make mine more like a McDonald's flat patty. So this pack is made for 25 pounds. But there is instructions on the back which call out, you know, how to do it properly, where we can go pound by pound. So we do know we have 1 pound of meat, 1 ounce of water per pound, and 1 tablespoon of seasoning. So in the past I tried to do the calculation, how to make a tablespoon, teaspoon versus tablespoon, and ended up with a lot of hot seasoning. If you take a look at the seasoning, give you a close-up here. It's got peppers in it. It's got all kinds of flavors in it. You can definitely see the hot peppers in there, so that's what you want to be careful of. My very first batch, I wanted some sausage with kick, and boy did my sausage kick. I found I overdid it with the spices. And just through the various times of me using this, a couple people have commented they liked it. Might have been a little too spicy on some people, a little too powerful. So this is where you can do what you want. We know we have 12 pounds of product. So in this batch, I'm actually going to step it back. I'm going to go with a 10-pound mixture. Instead of putting 12 pounds worth, I still put the same amount of water, but what I did was, instead of putting 12 scoops of seasoning, I cut it back to 10. So I'm going to see what this is like. My mixture here with water. What I do is I'm going to mix this up real well, stir it up with a fork or spoon, whatever you have. Give it a good mixture to make sure it's all mixed up good and you don't have any powder form in there. And after I got a good mix on that, that's real simple. We're just going to add that to our meat. Again, here's a shot of our meat. As you can see, you don't see any red meat versus pink meat. I spent time and just kept rolling it and rolling it. Real good close up there. You can see pretty much looks like pork for the most part, which is what I'm after. So now what I do is I'll take this mixture, I'll just pour it all over the meat. Give it a good stir for that final batch and splash it in there. Again, hand time. I take my mixture and I'll just sit here now and I'll just stir it all together, roll it over. Boy, if you could smell this, smell-o-vision again. You can just smell all that hot Italian seasoning. So what I'll do is I'm going to mix this all together, take the time, mix this all together, and then I'm going to stick this either in the refrigerator if you have space. Current temperature outside is about 40 degrees, so I'm going to probably set it outside for about a half an hour and let it rest, let all this seasoning soak into the meat, and then I'll bring this product back in, and then our final process will be running it through the grinder one last time to give it that consistency that you want to see in hamburger, because this has only been gone through the processor once. So when I come back, we'll run it through the processor, the grinder, and we'll do our final product after letting it sit for half an hour, and then we'll get to patties. Okay, everybody, here again is the finished product. Again, if you had smell-o-vision, you could just smell all the spices that are in here, giving that hot Italian blend. LEM product, hot Italian backwoods seasoning, and my grinder. It is the model 779. Now the fact that I did have to mix in water and spices, it made this a lot stickier. So I did have to put it down the hole in very small pinches so it didn't clog up. I mentioned on my Hamburg video about the auger. This is the auger wheel that came with it. And I guess I'm told that, and they make a new auger wheel that has a big space in here. And supposedly it'll accept a lot more meat quickly. I never made the purchase to buy the new auger wheel, but that spacing, I guess, helps it so it does move meat quicker. Maybe my friends, after seeing this video over at LEM, will send me the new auger wheel, and I can do a video on the new improved auger wheel versus the factory auger wheel that came with my grinder, and see if there's a big difference. I'd be interested to see if I can pump meat through quicker than the current way I am doing it. You definitely have to slow down when you're making this sausage mixture because the meat is real sticky. But we'll go from here now. I'll take my parts. While this rests again for a few minutes, I'll set up my packing table and I'll clean up my grinder. And then we'll get all ready for hand pressing patties. Okay, here we are at the wrapping table, or the processing table where I make my patties. I got my Hamburg press, which you saw in my Hamburg video. I got my meat ready. If you didn't see me making hamburger, I'll press the importance again of having a good spoon with the grooves are handy, because as you scoop it, it'll pop out and it won't get suctioned in there. That really helps. And a Hamburg patty maker here, made again by LEM. My LEM wrapper papers. I like the 9-inchers because you fold it over, give it a small squish, press down firmly. You got a patty. One thing I want you to see is just how thin these patties are. Kind of hard with the paper to get an exact shot, but there it shows you. Probably not even a 1/4 inch. And that will swell up to a really delicious size sausage patty. I'll individually lay these out on a cookie sheet, put them in the freezer, get them hard like hockey pucks, and then I'll individually wrap them in packs of 4 to 6 or 8. Then they're ready to eat for breakfast. You get them out and they're ready to go. Frying pan picture. Nice. You see, nice thin patty. It's what you want. You don't want to eat a hamburger. Just have a nice patty.
Man,
that pretty much is going to wrap up how I make my hot Italian sausage patties. Pretty similar to burgers, except for the fact that you're now mixing in spices and you're actually mixing in, you know, a little bit of water and giving it some flavor. A little hard to grind, but take your time. You can just work straight through it. Press your patties nice and thin, and you'll have a real small, thin breakfast patty that serves somewhere like McDonald's or somewhere like that. Don't want a big, thick hamburger style patty. Want a nice, thin patty. And if I can on this video, I'll throw a picture up also of a finished product of mine. I'll take 2 of these patties, cook them up. I'll do a dippy, Pennsylvania, we call them dippy eggs. Over easy with a slice of melted cheese laying on top of the sausage. You break open that dippy egg, rolls down over the cheese and the sausage. It's like food porn. Alright, that's it. Chuck Lafferty's video on how to make hot Italian breakfast patty sausages from deer meat.